thing. I just started. We're going on pretty quick. It's perfect time to jump on, but I wanted to mention you don't have to stay on the entire time. I realized that it's wrong because I wanted to treat this like a real coaching session, right? And I'm in that I want like a lot of value. I want to have that dialogue a while. So that's my own, thinking about it. But jump in, jump out. It's all here just to help.
In 1,000 feet, use the right 2 lanes to keep right.
Hey friends, it's Thursday, August 12, 2021. You're watching Prepare to Go There, the most overlooked and underrated coaching conversation on the internet today. That's my opinion, but I'm just convinced that our future deserves our focus, right? The future is not going to pioneer itself, so we better get after it today. And it has been so much fun to go on this extended coaching journey with you. My name is Peter, by the way, if we haven't met yet, and I really appreciate the time. Anytime you can invest in where you're going and who you're becoming, I'm all in for that kind of project. So I have benefited from this sort of thing, and I want to pay it forward and really just help friends and leaders alike go on a journey of preparation, learning a lifestyle of preparation, which is the opposite of procrastination, right? Which we're all guilty of. And so this is not me lecturing anybody. This is me doing what I do all the time, but just in the company of friends and leaders, and just trying to model this and invite others into this because I need this. I think you need it too. We have to keep our future on the front burner because it can so quickly drift to the sidelines. And so I just want to say welcome to the Future Frontier. This is all about where you're going and what it's going to take to get you there. I've realized that most people don't know how to lead themselves. And so it translates in the way they lead others as well, right? And maybe we put too much pressure on other people because if we're honest, we can't be a strength. We are actually acting like a burden. And so that's not the motive in, servant leadership and self-leadership. Self-leadership is not selfish. It's becoming more and more selfless. And I think the value system of a really great leader is to say, I've figured out how to lead myself. I've figured out how to be as low maintenance as possible. So that way I can give more energy and more value to the mission at hand. And whenever you find someone in that category, you really have something special. So that's what this is all about. It's called Prepare to Go There because I'm convinced you're going places in the future. And so if that's true, you better get after it, right? You need to start preparing for it right now because we don't want to just show up. We want to show up ready. We don't want to just think we're going to rise to the occasion. I would much rather put in the work beforehand and fall back on my preparation. And, two groups of people that I think we can all learn from. That's moms and the military. And they train, they prepare, they don't go in to a situation just kind of winging it. They got skills, they've got the mindset, they're good, they're ready to accomplish their mission at hand. but that's what Prepare to Go There is. It's a long form coaching journey. It's to help you stay focused on your future practically. Sometimes we can daydream, we can make excuses, we can drag our feet, we can go MIA, we can exert way too much energy on low level, low value things. We can just kind of leak our own inspiration and motivation just on low friction conversations, thoughts, tasks, whatever. Just, you know what I mean? Just like, it's not like an explosive argument, but it's just kind of like an annoyance. And when I say focus on the future, I don't mean that you are losing the day that you're in right now. There's a quote that I just highlighted. We look to the future to know what to do in the present. And that was yesterday. That was really good. I'm trying to remember who said it. McKinnon, I think. McCallahan. Sorry, McCallahan. Trying to remember his first name. But anyways, speaking of focus, we need ways to stay focused. And one of the best ways to stay focused on your future is you have to keep taking field trips there. You have to keep talking about it. You have to keep looking at it. You have to refer back to it. You have to share it with people you trust. And over time, what's going to happen is you're going to be so clear on what's possible, what's important, where you're going, who you're becoming, that you can lead yourself there. And that's what we're doing in the meantime. We put our flag, so to speak, in the future, and we make these commitments, we make these decisions, and we carry these promises with us, and we have a sense of hope and a willingness to traverse into those promises. But we have to be productive in the day-to-day. We have to be useful, like, while we're waiting. And so it's really good to work through your wait. It's active waiting, and that is preparation. That's a lifestyle of preparation. Realizing that we're not there yet, but today matters. And so let's get to work. And I love figuring out ways to lead yourself tactically with, scheduling, organization, self-leadership. And the practical stuff really does empower us to go have great days and share great moments with others and make actionable progress towards the things we value. So it's kind of a both and thing. If you resonate with this, if you're saying, man, this is kind of the chapter title that I'm living through right now. I am in that place where I have to choose daily. Am I going to procrastinate or am I going to prepare? Then you need to be in the Future Friends. You need to find your future some more friends, people that will be in your corner, people that will have that open conversation with you about what's important, what's possible, and really what's necessary to get there. And then you're going to put in the work and you'll be intentional about it. And then they will keep you going. So the Future Friends is the email community that's keeping up with all this content. And I share blogs and live streams like this and plenty more, content to come. Future Friends are getting that in a weekly email. And then Future Friends are getting the information and the incentives for the coaching journey. And there's an online coaching course that's going to be coming soon. And I'm really looking forward to sharing that project with you. Speaking of incentives, two more things. One is I am coming up on episode 50 of Prepare to Go There. And it has been an amazing ride to figure this out, and I literally started, I think, the first week going live stream with no links to get there because I was just kind of iffy about how I would do, how the live stream would do. And then on my page, I kind of tricked myself into going live. And on the webpage, I put hard to find for a reason, prepare to go there. And I still believe in it. I thought that was pretty clever, but it was just enough to take that next step. And now here I am, putting it all out there on YouTube. So here we are, almost 50 checkpoints, 50 conversations later, 50 episodes later. That's going to be a big milestone for me, for sure. And I would love to celebrate it with you. So Sarah Joy, my wife, and I are kicking around some fun ideas, but I'm definitely doing some sort of giveaway for the 50th. I would really love your help to get the show out there more. So that way other friends and leaders that can join this journey, join the email community. And so 50 is going to be a big one. Come on out. Future friends. Hey, another gift I want to give you is a free fail-proof planning guide. And this is really your initiation, so to speak, to jump into the email community. A lot of people wonder, how do I get going? How do I get better? And so I put it in a PDF to help you like an on-ramp. And it's going to really give you the mindset and the skill sets that you need in order to look ahead and not, think fragile, but really think agile and figure out how do you adapt as the things on your calendar keep changing, or, you may not even know what to do with that calendar. This is going to help you, and it's going to give you a proven planning framework step by step, and that will start with the high level goal setting, work you through some rhythms, and then get you going in your day-to-day routines and projects. So I'm very, very pleased with the way it came out. I would love for you to check it out as well. All right, we are going to dive into the conversation for today. We've been asking the question, how do we have a great long game? How do you thrive in the long term? Everybody's looking for shortcuts and quick wins, which I'm all for, but you would have to have so many quick wins just to get, your first or second lap around the long game. And so a lot of people aren't thinking about where their life is going strategically or even sustainably. And so we have to be embracing those two factors and saying, okay, does my life, my lifestyle have a sense of strategy about it, and then I may have a plan, but can I pull it off? Can I keep this up after 3 years or 5 years or 10 years or, even longer? And so the main thing that I wanted to get across is that you don't have to procrastinate your joy to get to the long game. A lot of people, they say, well, I'm in it for the long game, and they kind of are white knuckling it, and they treat their long game like they're trying to hold their breath underwater. It's like, just hold on, and you're not going to make it. It's just a matter of time. You're going to give, and that approach is really pointless. So instead, I really encourage you to have fun today. And the long game you win is the one you don't want to stop playing. The long game you win is when you are rocking it so hard, so well, so strong in the present tense that you can keep leveling up and just follow that course of action, follow that line of thinking for a really long time. And if we've done our long game really well, then other people will want to play the same game. I've seen so many leaders start strong, and they talk big, and they have legacy, in their language, but they don't have anybody who wants to follow up. They don't have anybody who wants to do the encore because they've looked at either the way they got to the top, or however you want to say it, or to the front lines, or they've seen the toll that it takes on people emotionally, physically, spiritually, and they just say there's got to be a better way, and I just can't. I love you, but I can't do it the way you did it. And I realize that everybody has to make a choice, and everyone is leading themselves. But what I mean by that is that you refuse to be a burden. You choose to be a strength. And you really can't lead yourself without learning what it means to be a good follower. And so I hope that we can find principles and best practices that do translate in different contexts and even different generations, because what hope do we have? Right? It has to work. Otherwise, the path that we're pioneering, the things that we're doing, the things that we're dreaming up and launching and starting, then what hope do they have of, continuing strong and multiplying and hitting movements and all of that? So I really believe it's important to have good relationships with a variety of leaders and mentors. In my context, that's a really big deal. And I've seen a lot of value from it. I've seen a handful of bad case studies, so to speak, but I want to encourage you and let you know that there are so many gems and treasures and shining examples of longevity, faithfulness, effectiveness, success, fulfillment, that are out there. There's so many shining examples. And of course, they don't get the press, right? They don't get the spotlight. What you see out there in the social media world, you see all the failures, you see all the hypocrites, you see all the reasons to be cynical. But I think the treasures are buried beneath the surface, and we get the treasure. We get the privilege to go search it out, and we get to go find that treasure in amazing men and women. So anyways, if you want to win the long game, you have to enjoy the journey, and you got to keep it fun. Otherwise you'll get too bored and want to quit. When I would think the moment you feel like quitting your long game, it's time to level up. Don't quit, level up. And so many times I can get bored and I'm like, I need to pivot. I need to try something else. This isn't working. Like, for instance, let me go back to my slide for a second. I was just talking to my wife and I was like, Instagram, I don't think it's being pretty friendly to me right now. I need to figure this out. I'm thinking about switching up my strategy this way, that way, whatever. And I kind of caught myself. I said, I need to play this out. And so I'm thankful that I have this, this 50th episode. That's my goal, right? I set that goal and I'm going to celebrate it really big time. I'm going to actually celebrate it by giving y'all something, but, or one of you something, or a few of you. I don't know how we'll do it, but you got to enjoy the journey, and you have to gamify where you are, gamify your future, so that way you want to keep playing. You don't want to miss out. You don't want to not show up. It really can be an enjoyable thing to prepare yourself. So, all right. I do want to dive into the quote for the day. I actually have 2 quotes for you. Spoiler alert. But before that, I would love to see who is on, and please say hi. If you are watching the live stream, go ahead and let me know where you're watching from. Obviously, if you have a question about this conversation, let me know. Or if you have a question about Future Friday, which is coming up tomorrow, I'll tell you more about that later. So how do we gamify our personal health? We all know that we need to be healthy, but it's kind of tough, especially when you're stress eating or when you've had a exhausting day. I mean, if you work with people, then you understand how emotionally draining that can be from time to time. And so that's when you're making all of your all your choices, right? That's when you're choosing all those things that you're going to end up regretting over time. And what's so crazy is, the fun that we're splurging or that we're going for, those quote guilty pleasures, they're temporary, they're quick, they're fast, they're fun. But man, the regrets and the backlash and the consequences, they may not come up for a while, but if you have a habit that you can't get out of, or if you've, kind of put yourself on a path you don't know how to deviate from or kind of U-turn from, that can be really discouraging. So I am here to bring the fun back to the fundamentals. I'm here to help you reimagine how enjoyable working on your health, your sleep, your fitness, your energy levels, all of that can really be. I'm not going to be like super detailed with it today, but I do want to give you some things to start working on. So again, if you're watching, say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from, and let me know how you are keeping it fun with your long game. Here's a quote. I thought it was kind of humorous. It says, "Be careful about reading health books. Someday you'll die of a misprint." I just thought that was kind of funny. There may be some truth to that. Let me just say it that way. There may be some truth to that. And I think a lot of people are just relying on quote conventional wisdom, conventional health, or even, the experts of the day. And there is so much out there to learn, to see, to navigate. So definitely as we venture into this, I'm just here to keep you company while you commit to keep working on yourself. I'm not trying to be a guru or an expert. I'm literally in this same journey with you. I'm working on myself. I'm taking ownership for my choices and expecting, hopeful, positive changes to go with it. But here's another quote that I thought was pretty cool. "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." So, when we talk about personal health, how do we enjoy the journey? So many times we feel like we're getting ripped off if we're doing something healthy. Either it tastes bad, or it's difficult, or it's painful, or whatever. And doing the right thing always feels like, a burden. But I want to encourage you, doing the right thing doesn't have to be a burden. Doing the right thing doesn't just have to be, good in principle. Doing the right thing can actually feel great. Doing the right thing can actually have really positive ripple effects in your life. And when you have a value for your long game and your health and the things that are possible, then you can make better choices in the here and now. I'm kind of thinking, let me see if I can find this in 10 or 15 seconds, it'll be worth it. But I was reading my Bible today, and there was just scripture that just blew me away. Just talking about your choices and your personal health. Let me see here. No, I didn't find it. But man, so many important things about your health. just from a Christian worldview, health is such a big deal. It's actually the way we take care of ourselves is a form of worship to God. And it took me a while to kind of catch that. But basically, if you were given a gift, the way you take care of that gift, if you just threw away in the trash right away, or if you enjoyed it, used it and showed it to other people, like that would show your gratitude for it. So anyways, having a mindset of stewardship is really important, realizing that you are not bulletproof. You are not the exception. And the biggest thing I want you to do is take on a cause and effect relationship with your personal health. Take on a cause and effect relationship with your health. And that becomes a game. You literally play this game of trying to figure things out all the time. You're learning about your body. You're learning about how you feel. You're learning about what works, what doesn't work. You're learning how to optimize your routines and your sleep and your workouts and your scheduling all the time. You're just practicing a lifestyle of learning. And I didn't realize how much of my life was cause and effect based. If I didn't feel bad, I would just say, "Oh, I'm feeling like trash." Let me, treat that by being lazier. Let me treat that by eating something that's not good for me. I didn't pause and say, I wonder why I don't feel good. I wonder why I couldn't sleep. I wonder why, I felt kind of anxious and kind of upbeat and out of sorts. Like having a cause and effect relationship with your personal health will help you play a better game, help you level up with your personal health. If you're watching again, I would love for you to say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. Let's talk about what's on your mind too. But how are you working on your personal health? How are you? And it's so funny. I literally saw somebody jump off when I said that. So that's good. I'm serious. I'm not trying to impress. If this is already conventional wisdom, great. It should be common sense, right? But unfortunately, we just don't see common sense is not that common, right? So how do you find cause and effect relationships? Number one, you can find logs and journals and apps that can help you record what's going on. So that way, when something happens, you can kind of look back at what you wrote down, the data that you collected. Personally, I'm not really into technology tracking everything about me. I'm just honestly just guarded about that in general. But for my own purposes, for instance, I want to lead myself. I don't want the app to tell me when to breathe. You know what I mean? But if it's a tool, if it's helpful as a diagnostic, then absolutely go for it. Cause and effect. You got to work on the cause and effect relationships. If you don't feel good the next morning, don't just say, weird. Wonder what that's all about. Like you can literally throw yourself, off a cliff in confusion and worry and stress just by not thinking logically about, okay, I do feel bad, but why? What happened? What did I do? Where was I? What's going on? And then getting good information, getting good education about your personal health, starting a conversation with some future friends, some mentors, some people that want to go the same direction as you. All of that matters. All of that helps. All of that counts. But kind of the hook for this whole series, this whole week of gamify your future is you got to make it fun, right? What is fun is seeing results. What is fun is overcoming a challenge. What is fun is being able to share your progress with yourself, with others. So I'm all about be intentional and set the goal. Like set the goal for your personal health, sleep or energy or working out or eating or breathing or mental health or whatever it is. Like you can't do it all at once. You can grow. Absolutely. You can enlarge your carrying capacity. You can go in all those directions, but you got to do it one at a time. So just pick one for now, either the one that you want to get the strongest in right now, or the thing that is really dragging you down the most. And you just need to kind of level that out before you can work on anything else. And just target one of those actions and then be intentional and set a goal. Set a goal of what you're working for, what you're working towards. And then you can start working on that cause and effect relationship and figure out what's working, what's not working. You can be documenting it. You can be talking about it. You can be informing yourself with good information. I mean, go watch a documentary. There's tons of good stuff. And just like, how do I know where the good information is? Okay, I'll just be sincere with you. My default answer would have been, from a Christian worldview, I want to start with God's word, the Bible, and let God be kind of the focus and then work my way out from that. So generally speaking, I'm going to use, for me, the Bible is authoritative. And so I'm going to use that as the filter. But unfortunately, not a lot of people, even in that space, are like giving practical information. So they may give good principles, which is good, but you do have to go hunting. And so at that point, I really pray that the Lord will help me find trusted people, and this kind of goes back to another conversation, but there's a difference between voices and echoes. And what I mean by that is maybe a lot of people are saying stuff and maybe it's good stuff, but I try to go upstream and say, okay, but who are they learning from and where are they getting that information from? And who would be a real voice of credibility or even originality that I can kind of run with? And I want to learn from everybody. Absolutely. I want to learn from everybody, but I'm not going, you kind of hop in and out. It's kind of fun. It's been really cool to kind of see people hop in and out of this live stream, but you do want to find a few people, either friends that are a few steps ahead of you, or mentors, or some trusted people, not just experts in name only, not just because they have a title, some sort of institutional badge that they wear, but someone who is a practitioner, and honestly, someone that resonates with you. Someone that just resonates with your values and what's important to you. And then you can begin to work through what they're sharing, because it's going to take time. Like, it's just going to take time. And that's what makes it fun, is you're not feeling pressured. You're not drowning. You're not overwhelmed by all of this information. But instead, you're working on it a little bit at a time, and you're being patient with yourself. And you're like, I'm willing to journey into this more and more. And so for me, I've been very open about just how I had to navigate a season of unprecedented stress a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I guess. And I've written a lot about it in my blog, so I would encourage you to go check that out. And I knew that kind of getting out of that hole, so to speak, would take a while. So I was committed for the long haul, so to speak. And I'm still on that journey today. My dad has a great quote. He says, you may not be where you want to be, but you need to be thankful that you are not where you used to be. And in my health, that's where I'm at. I mean, I'm so thankful I'm not where I used to be. So I was going on that journey, and it was all overwhelming. I didn't know the names. I mean, I didn't even look at, when I would go through the grocery aisle, I would look at the graphics. I didn't look at the ingredients. I didn't know any better. I mean, I can't make excuses. I don't know how, me being a grown dude, just looking at the graphics, even when you see things that say like healthy, and I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm sure it's healthy. I'm sure it's fine, but not making that cause effect connection, not saying, oh, wow, that's kind of weird, right? I was eating a lot of this and I didn't feel good. And I wonder why, like, get engaged. Your health is yours. It's your game. It's your health. It's your energy levels. It's your fitness. Like, I used to think, well, I don't want to be a bodybuilder, but do you want to like have a life that's active and fulfilling? And do you want to go run around, with family? And like, what do you want to do? Like, you don't have to make this your career to make it a priority. Like, prioritize the way you feel and what you can bring when it's time to hang out and help other people. So that was so funny, because that was like a real thought. I was kind of maybe a limiting belief. I was like, well, I don't really want to be an expert in medicine. It's like, well, do you want to be an expert in yourself? Like, do you want to understand why you feel that way and how to get to where you want to go? And it's like, yeah, I do. So health is much more personalized to you. Fitness is much more personalized to you. It maps much more to you, and you have to take ownership. And I say, own the obvious. Like, if you want to gamify your future, own the obvious. Are you doing the basics? Make the basics the game, and then you'll be crushing it, and then when you feel like it's boring, it's not time to quit. It's time to level up. So keep going. I want to give you a few ideas. I'll finish with this. I'll land the plane with this. By the way, if you want to say hi, feel free to do that. Let me know where you're watching from. It's been super fun, particularly this live stream. I'm seeing a handful of you guys kind of popping on and off. I don't know if it's the same person who's got a bad internet connection or what, but I want to just hit some categories when you say, like, how do you even begin to approach gamifying your personal health? Set intentional goals and then celebrate them intentionally when they're done, right? Intentionally set and then intentionally celebrate your goals. That's how you make it fun. You have to reward yourself. You have to have high stakes. You have to own the opportunities and own the obvious along the way. So let's talk about a few categories. This is what I would do. Just literally get a piece of paper, brain drain, and I would put like what I want to see, like where I want to go. I'd write down scriptures. I would write down quotes or stats. And then I would just kind of mind map and try to figure out categories that go into that. And number one, I would look for a coach. Number two, I would look for a friend that I could actually go on this journey with, maybe a few friends that I could go on this journey with. So I'm identifying people that are already down the road. I'm looking for those mentors, or maybe even just a mentor moment. Maybe I can't even have like an ongoing thing, but maybe just one or two times. Obviously, you can look up people on social media. Again, remember to filter and find the voices, not just the echoes, and then get some friends and get after it. Have fun. I think it really does start with sleep. If you want to figure out, like, how do I get started? You got to work on how much energy you have and how rested you are and how ready you'll be for the next time to work, to give it your all. Most of us, we're not thinking deeply enough about the quality of our sleep and the mechanics that are going into that sleep. Obviously, there's a whole inside game. Maybe you're processing anxiety or stress, like I did. Maybe you got to just get quiet inside. You have to get some peace, and you got to cast your cares on the Lord and just go for it that way. But after that, there's still practical stuff you can do. I mean, there's just some obvious things. This is why I have to bring this up, because a lot of y'all are just making this so dang complicated. You're just making it so super spiritual. And you're like, well, I said my prayers before bed and I put on the worship music, but you drank like 4 energy drinks before. And you're wondering how that, you don't think that applies? You think that doing one good deed just cancels out all the other stuff you did to yourself. Like or you say, well, I worked out, but, one time, but it didn't work. And now I don't feel good. True story. Sarah Joy and I, my wife we were working out together, and the next day, actually, I don't think it was that. We went to the grocery store, and before we lived in an apartment with 3 stories. So we're taking the groceries up, and I said, hey, just let me load up all these groceries. I'll, just kind of strong arm it, and I'll carry it all up. And she's like, you don't want to take trips? And I was like, I really don't want to take trips. Let me just knock it out. One and done. So then I take it up. Y'all, I felt so sore afterwards. I don't know what it was. I mean, I'm embarrassed even to say it out loud, but I'm trying to encourage somebody out there. I'm trying to let you know that it's never too late to get started, and you need to do something today. Just get going and then get better. Like that's how this works. There's no fancy formula. There's no right or wrong way to get started. You just got to go for it. And so the next day I'm super sore, and I'm wondering, like, what is wrong with me? And then your brain starts taking you places you don't need to be. And so I was like, I think it's my left arm. I just turned 30. Is that a bad thing? Whatever. And guys, you really need to chill out. You need to tame your self-talk, and you just need to put in the work. Just do it. It's fine. And so work, I don't know where we're going. We are so off the beaten path here with this round of Prepare to Go there. So getting back on track, work on your sleep, look at the mechanics. Don't overthink it. Don't make it super spiritual. Like, make some good decisions, make decisions worth repeating, and figure out how you're going to make it sustainable. Then when you figure that piece out, now you've got the energy to go like exert yourself and do some awesome things. So, you're thinking about supplements, maybe as a baseline. You might want to just check in on yourself, see how you're doing. There's so many different tests you can take just as a diagnostic thing, and just kind of figure out where you are. You have to know where you are to get where you want to be. And in fact, I just went across a quote from Michael Hyatt. He said that the shortest distance between where you are and where you want to go is the truth. Whoa, that's good. So be honest about where you are, and you have to know. And so much of us are kind of coming in blind. When we first get started, we don't know what we don't know. And it's kind of like this unconscious incompetence. And so part of it is just trial and error and failing forward and learning as a lifestyle, hanging around other people that are going to talk circles around you for a time, but just going along with it and throwing yourself into the actual practice of, enjoying life and leveling up. But you can consider things like supplements that are healthy and ethical and sustainable. And then after that, your food, man, you really got to work on your food and figure out what you're putting in your body. Your body is a system, right? And so it has to run on good stuff. And if you're not putting good stuff in, then the output is going to be bad. Pretty simple. So even me, like I still do. I have a huge value for prayer and fasting. So I would fast a ton, but I don't know why. I just didn't think, I thought it was exceptional. I thought that I could just keep going. And I didn't realize that if like you're doing this, with a good motive and good intentions, but you have to realize still what it's doing to your body. And so my wife's been really good in helping me with that. But it's way more important to go the long haul and to finish well and to be a finisher, for that matter, than it is to impress people, including yourself. Even if you're just trying to prove something to yourself, like it may not be worth it. So work on your food, figure out what's really working, what's really helpful, what's really healthy. And that is a whole education in and of itself as well. And you're like, Peter, you're giving us all this stuff. You're kind of overloading us. And that's the point, it's going to take time. So just get after it, get started now. And when you first look at it, you're like, I don't want to wait. I'm impatient. I want results. I want to find the shortcut, the quick win. You realize there are some things you can do initially to get the ball rolling, but then you kind of hit that speed bump in the road, or you kind of find that thing where it's like, I don't know how to take that next step, get to the next level. I'm hitting a plateau. And that's when you have to buckle in and go on the long road, right? The path of patience. And then when you commit to that path and you're like, all right, give it to me. I'm ready to do the work. I'm ready to prepare. I know it's going to be overlooked. I know it's going to be unnoticed. I know people aren't going to recognize me. I know I'm not going to get, appreciation and applause for it, but I'm willing to do it because it's good, because it's right, because it's going to be worth it in the end, because I'm growing character and conviction and competence, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then you kind of get that full spread and you start really learning the landscape. And you're like, all right, this is going to be a while. This is going to be quite a while. And then you look back and you're like, wow, time is flying. Time is flying so fast, which is so paradoxical because the whole point at the beginning was you felt impatient. And then you look back and then you're like, where did the time go? And so I'm super glad that I went the path of patience, because it really, in hindsight, wasn't that long and strenuous and dreadful after all. So taking the shortcut will always be a longer road. If it's if your motive is just to cut out some necessary character building. And then we got to talk about working out, because it's part of it, exercise. Now, I've thought this a bunch, as a Christian, I was like, I don't know if Jesus was doing all this bodybuilding stuff. Actually, he was doing far more, y'all. He was walking a ton, and he was out there. He was doing like work. He was doing good work. And then the big thing is he had self-control. He was disciplining himself. One of the other, leaders in the church, Paul, he said, I don't want to be a castaway. I don't want to be disqualified. And man, one of the things that can really get you disqualified is if you don't lead yourself. If you don't have self-control, it'll take you places you don't want to be. So I think there's definitely a value in training and exercising, and however you want to approach it, treat it like work, treat it like worship, treat it like whatever, but you got to do it. And you cannot generalize your excuses. You can't glaze over the fact that you didn't do anything that day. You have to be honest and say, what did I do today? Right. And set that intentional goal, both a achievement goal and a habit goal. And then you have to celebrate it, really, really celebrate it. And, sometimes we think celebrating means I'm going to splurge, or I'm going to fall back, or I'm going to kind of kick the diet off for a while because I can finally do what I want to do. But the truth is, I really don't want to eat that junk anymore. I really don't want to do the stuff that makes me feel like trash anymore. I mean, I've learned what's important. I've learned like what I value and where I want to go. And so all those things that I'm doing are actually my own choices to get me there. Why would I want to throw that off? So you're actually rewarding yourself in new and different ways. So one of the ways is you can actually fuel your focus with more tools, more gear, like the hobby stuff. Like if you're really into this, start investing into this. Get like, maybe you have a pair of shoes, but then you get like a really legit pair of running shoes. Or maybe you started with a few weights, but you're rewarding yourself by leveling up and getting more gear and, figuring out more tactics. Or maybe you're like, I really want to get that coaching course, but it costs too much right now. But then you actually nail that goal and you intentionally set it. And now you're going to intentionally celebrate it. You say, I'm going to get myself that coaching course because I want to reward myself and I want to celebrate what I already have done. And this is going to help me go to the next level. So those are all just ideas. I do want to show you one thing to show you how fun and easy this can be. We went to Five Below, which is just like kind of a generic dollar store around here. And I found this little thing, and it is so funny. I loved it, and I was like, man, I want to try this. This is so good. So basically, it's just a little cube, and it's got all of these workouts on it. And then you just roll the dice, and then you got to do it, And then there's only one. I think it's like 1 out of 13 or 1 out of 15 or whatever it is. And it's like the water break. You're like, all right, that's what I'm aiming for every time. When we first started the first day, when Sergio, I'd kiss it, and I'd roll it, and it didn't work. But you got to have fun. You got to make it fun. Make it a game. Make sleep a game. Make food a game. Doing the right thing. Learning as you go. Bringing others in. Letting mentors look in, letting friends and people that you want to invest in look in, and just go after this together. Just really go after this together, because there is so much to look forward to in your future. Like if you even knew how big and awesome your future can be, you would put in the work. You would figure out any way possible to invest your best into your personal health, because we're going to need you for the long run. We're going to need you for the long haul. We're going to need you to lead the next generation. We're going to need you to work together to take on new horizons, to go to new heights. It's important, and we have to steward ourselves to get there. I would hate to tap out too early, because either I made really, really bad choices, obviously that are abusive or addictive in nature. We didn't talk a lot about that today, but we've got plenty of road to run, so I'm sure it'll come up. And man, don't tap out, and don't disqualify yourself in your health. You've got something to give, so make sure that you are there in the future when it's time to do so. I'm going to land the plan here. I really appreciate you being along for the ride. If this has been helpful, go ahead and let me know in social media land, and also let someone else know. I would really appreciate it if you could share this link with somebody else and let them know that, hey, he talks a lot, but it's because he knows we needs it, and this is a forum that he likes. In fact, I had a friend, he told me, hey, have you ever thought about making this a podcast? So I am considering the podcast route as well. But I'll have to wait until 50. until I think about it and implement it then. But really, I just need something to keep me focused on who I'm becoming, where I'm going, something to remind me that this is important. Maybe you're thinking, man, I could do so much better than this guy. Then go for it. Please, please do it. I want that. I want you to be teaching me. I can't wait to get future friends on here, and I'll just start interviewing y'all, and you just take us into all of these cool new areas. But the reason I do this is so that way it's just fueling your focus. It's just keeping you on this topic. Remember, there is a free fail-proof planning guide waiting on you. Just put in your name and email. You can get into it instantly, and you'll be glad you did. Join the Future Friends. Like I mentioned, tomorrow is Future Friday, which is dedicated to all of you future friends out there. And it's where we make time to answer your questions about this week and what we've been talking about, and what you're thinking through, what you're working on. I'd love to help you out any way I can. Remember, you're going places in the future. I cannot wait to see where you end up, what you're doing, all of the innovative things, the creative things, the influential things, the restorative things that you get to be a part of, that you are going to pioneer. And I take no credit for it, honestly. I just want to keep you company while you get there. But it's not going to happen automatically. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to have the right mindset, the right skill sets to prepare to go there. So put in the work today, and I look forward to celebrating with you at some point real soon. See you tomorrow.